Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're taking a look at something pretty interesting. So this is actually a shortened bayonet. So it's a shortened model of 1885. And the 1885 was initially made for the Portuguese for the Guedes rifle, which they decided they didn't want, and then later for the Kropatschek rifle. Now, I've got one of those full bayonets here. I've done a previous video on it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. That's where I'll really discuss the history of the bayonet and all the rifles it fitted to. And of those bayonets, the first 27,000 went with the Guedes rifles that the Portuguese weren't satisfied with to South Africa, or the Orange Free State, the BOERs, a whole bunch of groups down there received those rifles and those bayonets. And what's interesting about the BOERs is that while they bought rifles with bayonets, they did not use bayonets at all. And looking back in the photos, you'll never see one of their commandos with a bayonet fixed to their belt. And it just wasn't in their doctrine to use them. So what did they do with the bayonets? A lot of them were modified into what we have here, which is kind of like a bush or field knife. Now, there was an official modification to the model 1885 bayonet that stayed in Portuguese service. And Paul Kiesling, in his book, World of Bayonets, I'll grab the book, has done a couple little bits and pieces on them here. And here on pages 409 and 410. And he pretty much says that in 1905, it was a modification for the Model 1904 Vajera rifle, whether they were designed to actually fix to the Vajera rifles, or maybe doctrine was put in place to shorten bayonets in general so that everyone was sort of on the same level, even if they're using a Kropatschek rifle. Now, those ones, so I should probably say the first 27,000, as I said, went to South Africa. And we know this is one of those because of our low serial number. So we've got E829, and they're in 1,000 letter batches. So what's that, like 5,000 and change or whatever it is. So this is definitely one of the ones that went to South Africa. Another way to tell that is the Portuguese ones have a much darker wood handle, while the ones that went to Africa are a much lighter colour. I've been told that that was a change in the wood used during manufacturing, but I can't confirm. Now, the versions of this bayonet that the Portuguese were using, you'll find two different kinds. All of them will have this little bulge above the muzzle ring removed completely. And the first type is pretty much exactly what we have here, except with a spear point. The crossguard is the same configuration. And that's the more common one. The less common one is the same, except the muzzle ring's been cut in half and you've got two ears. And I've heard it said that those were for Vajera rifles, but I don't know if they'll fit. And that's what Kiesling's book says. Now, this one here was a BOER's bayonet. Now, I don't have any history on it whatsoever. I don't know if they turn them into something like this, what they did with them, if they binned them. I don't know if this is a bring back that Australian soldiers brought back from the Boer War. But what I can tell you about this one is it's been turned into a fighting knife. So as you see, the mortise and press button are gone completely, have been welded and polished. So that seems like something that Bubba would have done. I hope not. And obviously the scabbard here is incredibly crude. But at the end of the day, I just don't know. Now, the bayonets that went to the BOERs are far less common than the Portuguese ones. You don't come across them terribly often. And I was absolutely stoked to get this. So I know a lot of the other guys in the audience probably won't understand the significance of it, but the Boer War is quite significant down here in Australia. It marks the first time that we sent soldiers from our army overseas to fight in an international conflict. Whether or not we're on the right side, probably not. We'll get into the politics of that. We've been in a couple of questionable wars over the years, like the Malayan Emergency. Anyway, this bayonet is really, really sharp, and it's one of my favourites. I'm definitely not going to be selling it anytime soon. And I got it for an absolute steal on eBay. So I don't usually say what I pay for bayonets, but I paid 120 for it, Australian dollars, so less than US obviously. And it came with a pattern 37 frog for the 1907. So I sold the frog for like 25 bucks. So realistically, I got this for like 95 bucks. So I'm pretty happy with that. Definitely one of my favorites. I have spent so much time scouring the internet and scouring books trying to find any mention of what happened to the South African Guedes rifles and bayonets, and I've come up completely blank. So if you know anything, guys, comment below. I would absolutely love to hear from you because I've found nothing. But the profile of this blade is just absolutely gorgeous. Whoever did that did an absolutely fantastic job. Quite often when you find shortened bayonets, they're too stubby or they've got a weird blade profile. They're quite ugly. But this one is very, very well done, and I like it a lot. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. A bit of a rambly video, not a terrible lot of history for you because I really don't know much about this. But if you do come across a shortened model of 1885 bayonet, I hope I've provided a little bit of information that can help. I've been digging for 4 months, and that's really the best I've been able to find. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and drop a like. It helps with the algorithm, and thanks for watching.